So we're talking about what you need to know about your emergency fund. I bet you're asking, great, I get all this so far. How much do I need to put in there? Well, here's the key point to understanding how much you need to put in your emergency fund. It is based solely on your expenses, not so much your income. I'm going to say that again. How much money you need to put in the emergency account is based on your expenses, not so much your income. What do I mean by that? Well, if I have two people and one person makes, I'll just take our line out of here, the $3,000 a month that we talked about. And we have another person that makes $5,000 a month. And both of them have $3,000 in expenses, okay? Hopefully you can follow my chicken scratch here. This person makes $3,000, this person makes $5,000. This person spends $3,000, this person spends $3,000. The only difference here is how much one of them makes. Well, if you can do some quick math in your head here, if one of these people was to have a financial emergency, one of them would be in a bad spot. Who do you think that would be? If you guess this person, you guessed correctly, because they make $3,000, they spend $3,000, they got zero left over for emergencies. Person over here, B we'll call them, makes $5,000, spends the same $3,000, and would have $2,000 left over for a financial emergency every month. This is an oversimplified example. My point is that your emergency money, how much money you put in the emergency fund, is based on your expenses. $3,000 in this example, not your income, $3,000 and $5,000. Does this make sense? At the end of the day, if you lose your job, what matters is what you have to pay, not what you used to make, right? So how much you put in is going to be based on how much you spend every month. Now, okay, great. Now that we know that, so what? Well, if we know how much we spend every month, we can figure out how much we need to put in emergency savings to feel comfortable. In this example, we put $6,000 in emergency savings. So for both of these people who spend $3,000 every month, it's 2 months of living expenses if they lose their job. Does that make sense? If they have some other catastrophe, economic disaster that requires money, they can tap into the $6,000. The question for you is, would you feel okay, would you sleep well at night if you had $6,000 in your emergency account? Only you can answer that. My recommendation is to have more. Because remember, like we said earlier, cash is king. Cash buys you options when you lose an income or when you have an emergency. Okay? Remember, we said if you don't have an emergency account right now, just start with $1,000. Set up the account, go online, go to your bank, get a money market account, doesn't matter, interest-bearing checking account, savings account, something, and make it automatic. $25, $50 every month, whatever you can do, get to that $1,000 mark. And once you're to that $1,000 mark, your next goal for having emergency money should be 1 month of living expenses. So figure out what you spend every month. If it's $3,000, save up $3,000 in your emergency fund and feel good about it. Once you get there, I want you to save 2 months. After 2 months, I'm going to leave it in your hands. What makes you sleep well at night? Personally, I'd like a year. A year of living expenses sitting somewhere just in case. Now that's me, you're going to be different, okay? So what gives you the peace of mind? What number would that be? Do some math and figure it out. Take your expenses, how many months of reserves would you like to have? If you spend $3,000 and you want 5 months of reserves, 3 times 5 would be $15,000 in your emergency fund. Is this making sense? Some people suggest that once you get to $1,000 or once you get to 1 month of living expenses, attack the high interest debt. And I don't have a problem with that. That's absolutely fine. Again, it goes back to what makes you sleep well at night. The bottom line here is that having emergency money is going to give you less stress and less worry. It's going to give you that peace of mind. And that's what you need to know about an emergency fund.